I need you to understand something. I was trained to kill with my bare hands. I could operate in environments that would break most people. Fear, that was just another variable to manage. The afterlife, that was a bedtime story for people who couldn't handle the finality of death. I'd held dying men in my arms, watched the light leave their eyes, and felt nothing but the cold certainty that when you're gone, you're gone. But here's what I can't explain, what I've spent 3 years trying to rationalize away. When I was clinically dead for 4 minutes in that field hospital in Kandahar, I saw the nurse drop a green plastic syringe cap on top of the cabinet above my body. Not near it. On top of it, where no one could see from ground level. When I came back and told her about it, she climbed up on a chair and found it exactly where I described. She went white. I watched her hands shake as she held it. That syringe cap haunts me more than the firefight that killed me. Before that day, my life was simple. You train, you execute, you come home. I was a chief petty officer, 13 years in the teams, 3 deployments deep. I'd done things I'll never talk about and seen things that would have broken the old version of me. The kid from Ohio who thought war was about honor. I didn't believe in God. I believed in my swim buddy, my rifle, and the man to my left and right. When my grandfather died, everyone said he was in a better place. I remember thinking, no, he's in the ground. That's biology, that's physics. The electricity stops and you're just meat. I was so sure. So absolutely, arrogantly sure. The IED hit our convoy on a Tuesday. Funny how I remember that detail. Like the day of the week, matters when you're being shredded by shrapnel. I remember the sound first. Not an explosion. A crunch, like God himself stepping on a beer can. Then I was flying, not falling, flying, and then I was looking at my leg, or what was left of it. Bent at an angle that legs don't bend. The pain was, there aren't words, it wasn't just physical, it was existential. Every nerve ending screaming that something fundamentally wrong had happened to the architecture of my body. My swim buddy was dragging me. I remember his face, covered in dust and blood, some of it mine. I remember the helicopter, the chaos, the field hospital lights, impossibly bright, burning into my skull. A nurse leaning over me, telling me I was going to be fine. And then I heard the flatline. That sound, that single sustained note, should have been the end. Instead, it was like a starting gun. I was above my body, but above isn't the right word. I was in a completely different dimensional space that just happened to be oriented upward from where my body was. I could see everything. The medical team cutting away my uniform, the blood pooling underneath the gurney, the green syringe cap tumbling off the table and landing on top of that cabinet. But I wasn't interested in any of that, because there was something else. A presence. I've stood in rooms with enemy combatants, felt that predatory tension before violence erupts. This was the opposite of that. This presence was so vast, so utterly loving, that every cell of my non-existent body was vibrating with recognition. Like meeting someone you've known your entire life, but had forgotten existed. The light came next, but it wasn't light like the sun. It was liquid, thick. I could feel its weight pressing against me, and instead of fear, I felt this insane, overwhelming relief. Like I'd been holding my breath for 34 years and could finally exhale. And there was a commander. That's the only word my military brain could assign to it. This being who radiated authority, but not the domineering kind. The kind that comes from absolute knowing, from having seen everything and still choosing love. He didn't speak, we didn't speak, but I knew him, and he knew me. Then came the review. They don't prepare you for this in any religion I'd ever heard of. It wasn't God judging me, I was judging me, but worse, far worse. I was feeling everything I'd ever made another person feel. Every dismissive comment to my ex-wife when she tried to connect with me. I felt her loneliness like a knife, that hollow ache of loving someone who's physically present but emotionally deployed. The guy at the gas station I snapped at because I was having a bad day. I felt his shame, his small, quiet humiliation. My little brother, who looked up to me, who I ignored for weeks at a time because I was too focused on my career. I felt his rejection, his worthlessness. But here's the thing, I also felt the good. The kid I pulled from a burning vehicle in Ramadi. I felt his mother's gratitude, so powerful, it nearly shattered me. Every morning she wakes up and her son is alive because of a split-second decision I made. My buddy's daughter, who I gave my challenge coin to when she was scared about her dad deploying. I felt that coin in her pocket, a talisman of courage that got her through middle school bullying. It was all there, every ripple, every consequence of every action, radiating outward through time like sound waves. And the commander, this being, wasn't showing me this to punish me. He was showing me because it was important, because it mattered, because we're all connected in ways we're too numb to notice. The message was clear. What you do here echoes forever. Coming back was violent. I slammed into my body like a car crash. The pain returned instantly. That ruined leg, the torn tissue, the screaming nerves. I gasped and someone yelled, "We've got him back." The nurse was crying. I grabbed her wrist and said, "Green cap, top of the cabinet." Her face told me everything I needed to know. I lost the leg below the knee, medically retired at 34. The old me would have been destroyed by that. But the old me died in that field hospital. I call my brother now, every week. Sometimes we don't even talk about anything important, but I call. I'm patient with strangers. Not because I'm trying to be a good person, but because I know I've felt how much those small interactions matter. I tell my daughter I love her every single night, because one day I won't be here, and I want that to be the thing that echoes. Here's what I need you to understand. This isn't about heaven or hell. It's about now, right now, the person you're impatient with in line, the spouse you're ignoring, the friend you keep meaning to call. They're feeling everything you do, and it matters. It all matters. I used to think I was trained for the toughest missions on Earth. Turns out, the toughest mission is just being human to each other, and we're all deployed on it, right now.